Welcome to the Buddhism Mindful Journey channel. Today, we're going to explore a topic that almost everyone has experienced: how to face anxiety and restore peace within the mind. In our modern, pressure-filled lives, anxiety and stress seem to come along uninvited. But this doesn't mean we can't manage or transform these feelings to live a happier life. Let's dive into some basic steps to help us overcome anxiety in the spirit of Buddhism. Part 1. Recognize and accept your anxiety. In any situation, the first and most important step is to have a clear awareness of your feelings. Buddhism emphasizes that the key to overcoming suffering is to recognize and accept it. Instead of avoiding or hiding our anxiety, we should allow ourselves to acknowledge and name that feeling. Often, we feel anxious when we think about the future or uncertainties, and this can become a spiral of exhausting emotions. Once you've realized that you're feeling anxious, acknowledge it instead of denying it. Tell yourself, "I am feeling anxious." By naming and accepting this feeling, you give yourself a chance to calm down without being consumed by negativity. Example: imagine someone who feels anxious about changing jobs. Thinking about the change may cause them to feel insecure about the future. By accepting and acknowledging this anxiety, they'll be more in control of their emotions, rather than allowing anxiety to dominate their decisions. Part 2. Do one thing at a time. After accepting your current state, the next step is to focus on doing one thing at a time. When there's a lot to do, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and lose control. Practicing one task at a time helps us stay focused, reduce stress, and improve the quality of our work. To start, take some time to sit down and write out what needs to be done, including any worries you're facing. Then categorize them into two groups: things within your control and things outside of your control. This practice will help you understand what you should focus on to optimize efficiency and ease your mind. Example: a student preparing for a major exam may feel anxious because of the large amount of material to study. Instead of worrying about everything at once, they should plan to study one subject at a time, breaking it down into manageable parts. This way, they'll feel more in control and less overwhelmed. Part 3. Slow down and be mindful. In Buddhism, there's often talk about the connection between the body and mind. When the body slows down, the mind also becomes calmer and more controlled. So when doing any task, aim to do it slowly and mindfully. This approach will help reduce feelings of anxiety and prevent your mind from getting swept up in negative thoughts. One helpful practice here is to slow down when you feel anxious, instead of rushing through many tasks. Start with simple actions like sitting down, taking a deep breath, or doing something gentle with full focus. When you move slowly, your mind will gradually settle and the feeling of anxiety will fade. Example: an office worker feeling overwhelmed with daily tasks could try making a cup of tea, sitting down, focusing on each breath, and taking slow sips. This simple yet deliberate action can help them find calmness before returning to their work. Part 4. Complete each task before moving to the next. When we're anxious, leaving tasks unfinished only adds to our mental load and discomfort. That's why an important principle is to complete each task before moving on to the next one. Every time you finish a task, you'll feel a sense of relief and accomplishment, which helps alleviate anxiety. If we don't finish a task, it becomes a burden in our minds. Every time you finish one thing, reward yourself with the comfort of completion. This practice lightens your mind and allows you to focus on the next task. Example: a stay-at-home mom with a list of daily chores can reduce stress by completing one task at a time, perhaps cleaning up first, then caring for her children. This way, she finds it easier to handle the workload without feeling anxious. Conclusion: cultivating serenity to manage anxiety. Anxiety is an inevitable part of life, but we can completely transform it into an opportunity to train our minds and improve ourselves. Practicing awareness and acceptance of anxiety focusing on one task at a time, slowing down and being mindful, and completing each task will help you find peace within. Buddhism teaches us that all emotions are like clouds. They appear temporarily and eventually pass. So, when you feel anxious, don't let yourself be swept up by it. Practice these small yet effective steps to overcome it. Once you apply these techniques and notice the change, you'll realize that peace has always been within you. Thank you for watching until the end. If this video resonated with you, stay tuned for more on Buddhism Mindful Journey. May you all find serenity and happiness.